Well, let me catch you up. For a good 3 years, I looked like Lord Farquaad
Ah,
and a flapper with a cocaine addiction, and then somebody screwed my hair up mid trip to Australia, and then there was also a hair care shampoo that worked a little too well. So, now we're just chatting it up,
you
seeing
know
what
that
happens.
that may be my new favorite thing. Flapper with a cocaine addiction.
And guy who says, "Where my hug at?"
Yeah, you're right. Like, what would that movie look like? Hey,
Let
Flapper, where my hug at, Flapper?
Great Gatsby.
It would yeah, that is, it would kind of just be Great Gatsby, right?
I I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I really, really don't think that. I mean, the movie, whatever. Like, I'm sure it has some validity, but in terms of like literature, I really disliked that book. There was just something
Well,
about it that irked me.
that was one of those things. I don't know I don't know how it is over there, but that's one of those things that like literally like every kid in America has to read in high school. You know?
That's not part of our syllabus, like
Yeah.
in high school, depending on what kind of school you go to. I went to a gymnasium, but there's also like trade schools and whatnot, but the syllabus is pretty similar. In high school, you start off, depending again on which school. We had The Odyssey as the first book that we read, and like the whole
You have to
thing.
read that
Not
one.
We
Yeah.
had The Odyssey, we had Catcher in the Rye, which I fucking hated. We had a lot
I
of
think that's hit or miss. They like to do Grapes of Wrath a lot. Um,
We didn't have that. We had James Joyce Ulysses. We had that. We
oh,
had
this is America, sweetie. They know better than to try to get us to read Ulysses. Yeah, they skip right
yeah,
past. They're just like,
we
nah,
had that.
no, they're not gonna get this one. You know.
We had Anna Karenina. We had Crime and Punishment. We had The Trial. So
Oh,
with us, it's very
Dostoevsky? Yeah, no. They're just like maybe
we had
in
a
the advanced classes. You know what I mean? But like, no, they're just like, nah.
we
It
had a
was
lot
like,
of Dostoevsky. We had a lot of Tolstoy. We had Kafka. We
well,
had I think it.
that makes sense for where you grew up. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
the other day, not the other day, because when I say the other day, it could literally mean yesterday or 6 months ago.
it
I
means the
was at
same
work.
shit when I say it. So yeah,
I had a
time is
situation.
time isn't fucking real.
Yeah, it's
It's
a little
not.
con. It's just a little concept that I occasionally dabble in. But I
Every
was at
now and
work,
again.
and me and a coworker of mine, she was talking about Russian literature, and we were just making jokes, even though I really like Dostoevsky and Tolstoy and all of that. I've read every book that was available to me. I've reread it. That was like, we were a Dostoevsky and Tolstoy household. Like, you just had to read it. It wasn't an option. Like, my dad would literally hound me about finishing a book that was like a billion pages long when I was really,
Yeah,
really too little to read it.
them things aren't. I have one of those, and I got it pretty recently because there was a good deal on it. It's one of those, the portable Russian literature. It
Oh
hits all
yeah.
the highlights.
Yeah, here you couldn't get away with just the highlights. Here you have to
Yeah,
read
no,
the
no, no, no,
brothers
no, no,
Karamazov.
no. No, yeah, I
Yeah.
had to do all that shit too, but it wasn't until because like this may shock you, but in East Texas, like nobody's like talking about Russian literature.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Here it's really, really it's a big thing for a lot of households, especially,
Sure.
uh, the households where your great grandparents were educated. You were just sort of it's sort of expected that you can hold a conversation about Dostoevsky.
Oh, I'm sure it would be. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that makes total sense. You know.
Nowadays, not so much. Like I saw an interview, some guy did it on the street. He was like, which Bosnian author won the Nobel Prize for literature, and nobody knew the fucking answer, which was ridiculous. But anyways, me and my coworker were chatting about the brothers Karamazov, I think, and we were just making jokes about how every character is named Ivan or Ivanov, and and suddenly
Yeah.
this coworker of ours, if he was a spice, he would be flour. If he was a drink, he would be stale Sprite left in the sun for too long. He's just a guy void of.
That's rough. Stale Sprite.
He's so void of any personality, but he tries to aggressively insert himself in every conversation as somebody who's sort of an authority figure on every single topic.
Sure.
Meanwhile, he really isn't. So, two girls are talking about big book with lots of big words. So he, of course, has the requirement to feel
Yeah.
smart and participate.
Gotta jump in on that one. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, he just needs to submit his dick into the dick measuring context that nobody
Yes.
is holding except
Of
him.
course. Yeah.
So, he then proceeds to start asking me about the book, but like from the perspective of a snob who was friends with the guy who wrote it, he's trying to be really, really smart about it. But, I know when somebody's full of shit, which
Sure. Yeah.
that's my superpower. I can sniff out a lying little fuck in seconds. So, he's trying to ask these really, really hard hitting questions that only a person who never read the book would ask. And he's being really sort of vague and mysterious and how he's in on something that me and my friend are not aware of. So then I ask him, who's your favorite character, just to see what happens.
Yeah.
And he gives the diplomatic answer of, oh, how can one choose a favorite character when such a great mind put so much effort into making every character interesting, which who the fuck says that? But anyways, I
People that
decide.
haven't read the book and have no idea what the book is. Yeah. Of course.
So then
Yeah.
I proceed to, put out some bait in the situation because, like I said, most of the characters are named Ivan and Ivanov. So I decided to be like, oh, I really enjoyed Mustafa, which, spoiler alert, there is no character named Mustafa in the Brothers Karamazov. And then he proceeds to say, oh, yes, he's such a complex character, you either have a really you either love him or you hate him, and then I'm just like, yeah, sure, buddy, sure. It's ridiculous because
I just straight up tell people, yeah, I didn't read that one. I'm from East Texas. Sorry.
the thing is, here in this current climate, a lot of people pretend to be much much smarter than they actually are, even though they don't know shit about fuck.
Well, yeah.
So
Yeah.
they sort of feel a moral obligation to say, yeah, I participated, of course. The Odyssey, well, I was there. I was actually the one who instructed them to make the
Yeah.
Trojan horse.
I was on the island with Cersei and the whole deal. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I was
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Cyclops, that's my buddy from elementary school. How don't you know?
I grew up with that guy. Oh, it's totally cool.
Yeah,
totally,
that's sort of a
not,
that's sort of a point of pride for
he's
people
not actually
nowadays,
a bad
I guess.
guy.
Yeah, he's misunderstood.
Misunderstood.
Which a lot of
Yeah, as they say about every character now. So, oh, just misunderstood. Yeah, no, we would do. I think we had to do like we do like a Pride and Prejudice. They make us do. We had to do like Romeo and Juliet.
we didn't have
You'd have to
Shakespeare.
read Chaucer. I mean,
That's what fascinates me because we didn't have Shakespeare. We had no Shakespeare whatsoever. We also didn't do the whole Pride and Prejudice thing. We didn't do Wuthering Heights. We didn't do a lot of
maybe
the
it
shit
was
that I've
Wuthering
seen
Heights
around.
that we had to do. I can't remember now. It's been a long
Yeah,
time.
but what
Uh,
did actually happen, and my mom reported my teacher to the fucking school board, as did a lot of the parents. She basically, we were supposed to read, I don't know what it was. I just know that it was like a really, really important book. I think it was Stendhal. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it
yeah.
was, and it was sort of the thing we had to read. And then she was like really smart about it, and she's like, "Yeah, it's a really hard book, which bitch matter of perspective. What do you mean it's a hard book to read? I've read harder books, so it sort of felt like an insult to my intelligence from the get go." And this lady decided to swap out that book unprompted for another book she really enjoyed, and it's by some guy. He's like her favorite writer. She met him actually, and she pushes this book on us. And the thing is, the library didn't have it. She basically made us copy that book. And the thing about my mother is she never really helped me with schoolwork, but for example, when it was reading assignments, she would read the book as well and make her own notes, and then would compare her to mine, because that's a hobby my mom had.
That's
Literary
cool
torture.
though. I mean that's jumping in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she was really, really interested in like my perception and our reading list. So she read the book alongside me, and she basically was like, "This is the worst book I've ever read. There's incest without any fucking plot point. Like it
Like
serves
it's
no
just
purpose."
incest for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just incest to be shocking. Like, the book had no redeemable qualities. It was very poorly written. It sort of relied on the ability of the reader to sort of kind of guess what the author was trying to say. It had very little context. It was just it just felt like a poorly done incest fan fiction, which is crazy for a book and a reading assignment in high school.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
the exam comes up, and like me and the whole entire class is like, "This is the worst book we've ever read. We want to read Stendhal. We will not be doing this." The lady cried.
Yeah.
She
Oh
cried.
man. Yeah.
She tried to guilt trip us. And then my mom is like, "What? Hello, school board of education. There's a
Right.
crazy lady making my
It's
child
yeah.
read incest
Making,
fan fiction."
yeah. Making her read incest porn. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah,
We had to
in
do a
this
thing.
here gymnasium.
Yeah. I mean, so oddly enough, like the people who influenced me with literature were like were not my English teachers, who were basically, like I said, they had a curriculum of like, you know just the most base fucking books, and we're just like, yeah, do this, and I'm like, okay, whatever, and but I had other teachers who were like, hey, you need to go to the library and get on some of this shit. And I mean, like, that's where I'm finding out about, like, you know John Kennedy Toole, and who did Confederacy of Dunces, and Catch 22. Heller, yeah, Joseph Heller, and I stumbled into, like, Kurt Vonnegut and shit. And so I had my own little reading thing going on, that other people were like, yeah, what you're reading in English is bullshit, but you need to read this. So an English teacher, I think it was about to graduate. It was pretty, I was almost done with high school. And so she assigns Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson, you know? And I'm like, the fuck? It was just such a weird flex. And I was, no disrespect to, like, Robert Louis Stevenson, but, like, why are we reading Treasure Island? And so
Yeah, that feels sort of out of place for high school.
it was really weird. And so you know, and she and I got into a thing about it, you know, and I was like, I go, I just straight up told her, I'm not reading that book. And well, what are you talking about? You have to, you know, that's the book that we're reading. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm on Kurt Vonnegut and all this shit. I'm like, I'm in a whole different place here. I go, I'm not reading fucking Treasure Island. And so,
Yeah,
oh my God, she
we
got pissed. Like, took it like really personally, you know? And I was just like, I was like, hey, look. She's like, well, you're gonna have to write an essay and you're gonna take. I'm like, I promise you, I am never gonna crack that book, you know? And so, like, I would take quizzes and like, you know, I'd seen the Disney thing. How far, you know, when I was a kid, how hard is it to figure out what the fuck happens in Treasure Island, you know? And so
we had
I got called down to the vice principal's office, and like, so he's all like, he goes, and he was a character, and he didn't put up with any bullshit, and he goes, what the goddamn hell's going on with you and her in this fucking treasure island? I was like, look, I go, hey, I go, I'm not gonna read it, you know. He's like, well, goddamn, just tell her you're fucking reading it then. And you know, this is a vice principal, you know.
yeah.
He's like, cause I'm sick of hearing her. I'm sick of her coming to me, telling me that you caused. I'm like, I'm not causing problems in class. He's like, he goes, I know. He goes,
She's
just like
causing the
fucking.
problem.
He goes, just tell her you're reading the damn thing. I don't care if you read it or not, you know. And so yeah, but yeah, I had there was a whole thing, and like I had to write an essay on it, and like I banged that son of a bitch out the night before it was due. I've still to this day never cracked that book open, you know. And like,
I had a similar situation in college. It was for my methodics of teaching class, and they assigned like different books for everybody to read, and sometimes a book was parallel, like two people would essentially be reading the same book, and there was like 50 of us. So I got some obscure little book about the science of teaching or whatnot, and
yeah,
the library only had one copy. And that one copy was checked out by a girl who was simply refusing to return it. It wasn't available online. I went to bookstores, I went everywhere, the book wasn't available. So I asked her, like, look, when are you returning it? Oh, I'll return it, I'll return it. She never did. A week before the assignment, I'm like, listen, you will either lend me the book so I can get it copied, or you will take pictures of the book. It was like 150 pages.
yeah.
She takes 150 pictures, but sends it all in the wrong order. So I was like, fuck it, I'm not reading it. Like, at this point, I'm really not gonna sort out the pages
Why
one by
wouldn't
one.
she
I'm not
just
doing
let you borrow the book for an hour so you can photocopy the fucker if you're gonna do
because
that?
because she's a conniving, sabotaging little freak of a person.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's some like sociopath personal shit right there.
yeah. And me and my other two friends who are gonna take the assignment, because you take it in groups of three. You don't write an essay on it. You basically hold a presentation. Anyhow, me and my other two friends, like both of them, read their books thrice. They made notes. They put in so much effort. I didn't read mine. On the bus ride to my university, I read like 5 eBay reviews on the book, like by some scholars who were like, "Oh yes, this book tackles this and that topic." Anyhow,
Right?
I go in there into the lecture. My friends go first, and they get like, here in college, you basically have this numeral grading system. If you get a 5, you fail. If you get a 6, you pass, but barely. 7, 8, 9, it goes up to 10. If it's a 10, it's like a perfect score. So both of them get an 8. which, for somebody who read the book 3 times, it's a big fucking fail. Anyhow, I go up there and, I'm holding my little imaginary lecture using big words, saying something about a book I've never even held in my hands. And I finish it, and I genuinely think that they will call my bullshit and they'll be like, look, it's a 6. You tried. Go back home
Yeah.
and think about what you've done. This lady goes, in all of my years of education, nobody, and I
Right?
mean nobody, understood this book so as well as you did. You really got into the core and the soul of this book, and I'm there like, well, shit. And then
Yeah,
they
I
made
mean,
me.
like it's great with yeah. That's happened to me before too. So
They
you're
made
like,
me.
oh,
They
there's no way they're gonna buy this bullshit, and then they buy it. Yeah.
I had a similar situation because we have like a conservation and restoration class, and the guy was a fucking fraud. Like he's the most dodgy creature you can ever imagine. He made us dye papers with like using tea bags and indigo and crepe paper and beetroot juice and whatnot. And I
Okay.
wasn't gonna do that because it
That
made a mess.
yeah. That's
So
it's. I don't see how it could not make a mess.
So I was not gonna do that because I already did that shit in like elementary school. I don't
Right?
see how this would improve any of my conservation or restoration abilities. So I got paper from the print shop, which was colored, pre-colored, mind you. So I just took that, and they you had to do like an egg wash thing to seal it because that's sort of a fixative. So I literally just took the paper and dunked it in egg. And I take it to my final exam for the guy to examine, and my friends were like, this is obviously colored paper from the print shop. You
Right?
will fail. He will fail you. Like, are you seriously gonna do that? And I'm like, yeah, because at this point, what else am I gonna do? So I submit the paper, and he's like, you dyed it a little unevenly. What do you mean you dyed it a little unevenly? It's literally store bought. You cannot dye it better than this. But yeah, anyway, he didn't fail me. I got a good score on the assignment, but still, he was like, your dye job is a bit sloppy here, as is your intellect, my good sir. This is obviously from the store. You buy this
Yeah.
in bulk.
Like you're the only one that's buying this, buddy. You know.
Nobody else is believing it.
Like all
But then
even all my idiot friends are like, there's no way. There's no way they're gonna fucking. He's gonna go for that.
yeah, I mean it's ridiculous, but it builds character.
Yeah, I know, right? It's good for you. It's good for you. Builds character.
Builds character and makes you not fun at parties.
Definitely. Yeah, I think about all the dumb shit we used to have to do. Did they make you guys do a leaf collection?
The thing is, my mom made me do that before I even went to school because that's like the home activities that we would do. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
the
right on.
herbarium.
Yeah,
But the thing is that I was ready in elementary school. I already
yeah.
had leaves and flowers pressed and stuff like that. But yeah, they made us do that. We were
And
also those.
this guy took it like really seriously too. Like he would take your leaf collection, like after he graded it, and he would take a
Mhm.
drill and like drill through it. So like so like nobody else could ever use your leaf collection. You know what I mean? I'm just like, man, you're taking this leaf collection shit way too seriously, bro.
That's some hardcore bullshit.
Yeah,
One
that's like
time,
some like that's really like we're
next
not
level.
that yeah we're not that
This isn't NASA, sir. This is an elementary school.
this guy though. Okay, so this dude, okay, um and I know this is true because I'm still friends with like my newspaper advisor, and so like we're still on an email thread with each other. And like, and he was one of the ones who was like, hey, you need to listen to this. Hey, you need to, like if you were smart, he would like, you'd like be in the club and he'd be like, yeah, you need to listen to these records and you need to like read these books, and like what, and they're making you read this, but it's all bullshit, and totally grateful to that guy to this day. But so this guy, the leaf collection guy, in his room, in his classroom, he had like a plexiglass enclosure, and he had to like, I think they were like they must have been pythons, like, and like had them like in this giant thing, like, in which I don't like snakes anyway, so it kind of freaked me out. But I was like, whatever, I sat on the other side of the class. But he so my buddy, the yearbook advisor, told me that he goes, yeah, we were hanging out in the teacher's lounge, and he was talking, and he was like with another teacher too, who was also cool, and like he said, and so I read this, we were reading this article about how the snake, like this python, got loose or whatever, and so and so they were like reading it out loud, and then the guy that had the snakes in his classroom was just like, oh, that's crazy, that's wow, and so so he goes, so like somebody that the newspaper advisor, he goes, oh, you didn't hear about this already? Oh no. Well, no, this is the first time I'm hearing about this, And he goes, oh, I thought all you snake guys had like a newsletter that you all like sent around, they were totally bagging on it, and like he totally didn't get it. He goes, oh, well, no, I don't think there is. I mean, I don't get it, if there was. He came into class and he was like laughing his ass off. He was like, oh my God, I got to tell you, I got to tell you how we were just fucking with your favorite teacher with snakes. And I was like, oh my God.
We never had,
because like this was like, I mean,
pet.
this was like 1990, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
there were no internet message boards and shit like that, and like, well, I mean, there were, but like people weren't, like normal people weren't using them. And, so he was like, oh, we figured that you snake guys had like a newsletter that you like, all, you like, and like when stuff like this, happened, like you guys would know first. And dude was just like, no, I don't know,
Not me.
Just bizarre. He that cat, like I saw him walk up to another teacher with a video cassette, and he like he opened the little door on it, where you can see the tape, and he goes, I'm supposed to show this in class, but I'm not sure how to get the film out of this.
What?
And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, this dude's never used that, which like a VCR wasn't an uncommon thing then,
Yeah, it's not like
it's not like I walked up to somebody like on the street now, and we're, who were born after like everybody had already stopped using VCRs, And this poor teacher, she was like, oh, well, you don't. She goes, you just leave that little thing closed, and then you just put it in, press the thing. And he goes, oh, okay. I thought this was the case, and I had to take the film out of it. And it's like, first off, not fucking film, okay? But anyway, yeah, just shit like that.
I had a situation like that. We were in, I think it was pigment history, and we were supposed to make tempera from scratch, which is basically you take egg yolk, you squeeze it out, you add pigment and linseed oil. You're just making paint from scratch, like Da
That
Vinci did.
actually sounds kind of fun and interesting, you know?
Yeah, it was a really cool class, but our assistant was an absolute idiot. And we basically had like the recipe, and I was the one making the whole thing, and I needed like 10 milliliters of linseed oil, and she gives me like this chemist measuring vial. It's like a little tube, and I'm supposed to pour liquid in and measure 10 milliliters of oil into that. And I tell her, hey, this is hollow. And she's like, well, yes, it's supposed to be. Ma'am, it doesn't have a bottom. No, no, flip it on the other side. Like, do something else. Like, you're holding it the wrong way. And I'm like, ma'am, this has two holes. She still doesn't get it because the bottom is literally broken off. Like, there is the hole
Yeah,
on
right,
up
right on.
top where you pour the liquid in, but like the bottom is missing. Somebody smashed it. It's broken. She still doesn't get it. And
That's crazy.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to explain to her for the 10th time why it's hollow, the oil will drip out. She's like, no, no, you'll pour it wrong. And then I get a paintbrush and I just stick the broken vial on the bottom side. So, it's ridiculous. And then she's like, oh, it's not supposed to be like that. Oh, no shit, it's not supposed to be like that. Like, it's literally ridiculous. So, I had to have my fair share of arguments. I also we had a class where we were supposed to copy like the old masters, but you would literally have to like select a painting, and it wasn't just enough to emulate the style. No, you had to paint it with the same techniques that they did. So, for example, if you want to
oh
do
wow,
something by
yeah,
Leonardo,
okay. That's
if you want to
that's
do Da
that's really
Vinci,
cool.
yeah, like if you want to do Da Vinci and it's tempera, you can't just buy the paint. You have to make it yourself, and you have to make the easel yourself. You have to do everything. You can't buy a canvas from the store. You
Do you have
literally
to
have
make
to
the
take
brush?
not the brush. The brush was already there, but the canvas and the paints you had to do from scratch.
That's
So,
crazy. That I mean, that's really cool though.
and everybody was like, you could do a
I would
part.
nerd out to that. You know, I would be like, oh wow, you know,
Hell yeah, and you could like do
yeah,
a part of a painting or the whole painting. So I researched what I wanted to do, and I decided on Young Girl Seated by Gustav Klimt, which is the only miniature he ever did. It's the only one that exists in the collection. He tried that one, he did it, and he never went back to miniature and realism like that ever again. And we're trying to figure out what everybody is doing, and I say to my professor like, hey, I'm doing Young Girl Seated by Gustav Klimt, and she's like, Klimt didn't do that. Ma'am, he did. I literally saw it in his gallery in the flesh in Vienna. Like, I've seen the original. It says Gustav Klimt. It's in the book that I have about him. And she proceeds to tell me, oh, I've never seen that before. And then because I have no chill, I say, oh, so because you hadn't seen it before, so that therefore it doesn't exist.
right,
So
yeah.
we had a lovely little relationship for the next four
Like
years
you've
because
seen you've seen every painting and you know where every painting is hanging in like the world. Yeah, okay, yeah,
yeah, yeah, of course. And I did it, and it was ridiculously hard to do because it's the thing is the size of a phone, and it's
yeah.
a hyper realism portrait of a young girl
I
seated
think
in
I've
like
seen it. I'm not gonna swear to it, but I think I've seen it before. I know I've seen it before with all the goddamn art history I had to take, but
I
like
think you've probably
I
seen
can't
my
call it up
remake
in
as
my
well.
I can't call it up in my head exactly.
I think you've seen my remake because we were friends around that time already when I was doing that. So I think you've seen my version of it at the very least.
Probably.
But it's this tiny absurd thing, and now it's in my mom's house, and it's just ridiculous to look back on
I
it.
don't know
So
what they did with you guys. I don't know what they do now, but like we had with us it was slides. And like in art history,
mm,
and like
no, I
I
mean,
mean, I'm sure they project it and it's all digital. It's like a PowerPoint now, you know what I mean? But with us, it was like old school, like slides.
with us, the thing is, my academy has a really, really, really good library with catalogs. And you could literally, go to the library. We also had those lectures with the slides. We also had like the PowerPoint presentations. But for the most part, they would just take us to the library and show us the actual reproduced catalog, which is the closest you can get to seeing the painting other than seeing it in
Oh
real
no,
life.
okay, that's cool. That's
So,
really cool.
they had a lot of access to stuff like that, and they would just like pass the catalogs around and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, with
I own a
us, we
couple.
had like we would sit in like a in one of those lecture halls, the tiered ones, like a theater, and like there would be a slide projector at the top, and like the professor would be down like basically he would project it on on a screen, you know, and like he would just like click through slides.
Yeah, we had that too.
Yeah,
But
that's how.
here it was a lot of field work also, especially when we were doing like Bosnian stuff and architecture. Like you just go to the location.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't roll from Nacogdoches to Austria, just like you know what I mean. But like,
Yeah,
I
obviously.
get what you're talking about. It would be a whole different thing. That would have been better. But like, yeah, because my degree ended up being art. The film because the film program was through art. So I don't remember what it was. I think I had to take 22 or 25 whatever hours of like art history, and like it was a lot. Like we saw a lot of fucking slides.
My art history professor, she's my favorite professor I ever had. Like that lady,
They were cool as shit. Yeah.
you can tell that she loves what she does. And
Yeah.
the thing is, I had no books. Like the book was ridiculously overpriced. It wasn't in my budget. Like even now, the original is like 800 Bosnian marks, which is like $500 for the original book that you required to
Books
pass the
used to be
class. I didn't have it.
such a. I mean, I guess they still are. Books were such a fucking scam. You know.
Yeah, like the thing is, she did her job so well that if you just listened to her, not only would you pass the class, you would have a decent fucking grade. But I took notes and whatnot because I was always really, really passionate about that stuff. And the thing for our exams, you wouldn't get questions. You would get her projecting three paintings per group, and you would literally go to every absurd detail about the painting. So, for example, you would have something by Hieronymus Bosch, and you would have to know what painting it is, what year it was created. You have to go into a little biography of the artist, and then you would essentially, break down the context of the time,
Yeah.
the
Sure.
historical aspect. That was the exam in a nutshell.
I
And
don't even remember what.
I'm really grateful that I learned that stuff under her because her approach was just fantastic, and I highly recommend her like as a mentor to people who then who graduated after me, and they were like, who would you suggest I take as a mentor? Her,
Yeah.
because she knows what the hell she's talking about. Everybody else, like my head professor from the painters division, he would come up to my painting for critique and he'd be like, maybe add a little bit of dots. Texture, what do you mean texture? Like, can we use plain fucking terms to describe what it is that you require from me? What do you mean add dots? Are we talking pointillism or do you want more of an expressive brush stroke? Like, what's the point? But that's the thing about art and like people teaching art. A lot of them they know what they're doing in terms of them being able to apply it in their own work. But when it comes to, conveying and educating others in that, that's where they lack, because they just apply what they're good at for everybody else. Like, no, I'm not gonna destroy an absurdly detailed painting by adding some Jackson Pollock bullshit. It makes no sense in the context of my art. It's ridiculous at some points.
Yeah, I mean that's not a. I couldn't imagine you doing like a anything resembling like a Pollock or something. You know, that's that
It's
just that. I mean, I not that you couldn't do it. That's not. I mean, I would just be like, I don't
you
know.
know
That's just not. That's just not you. That's just not your style. It'd be like if I
yeah,
be like if I
it's
started writing like romance books. You know what I mean? It's just like, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's that they're unable to communicate it, and they don't understand your idea. And instead of, communicating it and clarifying it and, understanding where you come from, no, they just apply their vision on it. One time I had a guy, he was mid art critique for one of my paintings, and then suddenly he starts to pick up a brush and a palette and he's reworking my painting, and I'm just standing there like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, when did this become a group project? Imagine, like,
Oh yeah, that would have. Yeah, that
I'm slaving away at a painting that's the size of a door frame, and the model is right there. And suddenly some guy picks up a brush and he's like, maybe do this like that. What? No,
like I had to
absolutely not.
take 2 semesters of drawing class. But I now I wish I had, but I never then the next step was painting. But like, all we cared about was and and I mean I fucking I wasn't ever great. You know what I mean? Um but yeah, I was in that situation where they were, which I needed that shit because they'd come around and they'd like start like doing, they'd be like, well, why don't you do it like this and stuff? But like, I needed that shit. But to you, that would be like, okay, what the fuck are you doing over here, man?
The thing is, like, what I was used to from other professors, the other professors would basically take a little piece of paper and sketch out their idea and hold it up next to mine to see if I
Right?
want to
Yeah.
apply it or not. They wouldn't take it and you just use it from the painting. And yeah, it is artistic assault. Like, what do you mean you're hijacking my painting? If you don't like it, you don't like it. And I would understand if, he was trying to correct my proportions or my anatomy or saying, hey, look, the color palette doesn't really work. But it was never about, having a conversation with me and understanding what I'm trying to do in that scenario. It was just like, oh, add more dots. And then you see his body of work, and it's all composed of nameless, senseless dots just scattered about, because it's something that a lot of artists, and especially professors that I've had to deal with, do, is you can literally tell when they've lost the battle with their painting. The point where they decided, oh, good enough, just add some texture and whatever, just get it over with. And I really don't like that. Like, I revisit my work all the fucking time. But also, me being a self portrait artist, it's really, really funny to, have discussions with people who are really not at all familiar with art, especially self portraits. I've had a coworker, she, saw my work because I used to post it on Instagram back in the day. And she was like, oh, your portraits, they're really good, but, you're tracing from a photo, right? And I'm like, no, I have a degree. I went to art
Yeah.
college
Right.
for four
Yeah.
years to learn
Yeah.
how, like, I'm not tracing shit. And
Yeah.
nothing against tracing. Like, sometimes you do that, or you project a large piece on a canvas or a wall to make it easier for you. And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, how do you do it? Girl, I have a mirror. Like, genuinely, whenever I like paint without a reference, I have two mirrors. One is like a full length mirror, and the other one is like a circular mirror. And I just, reference a mirror. But then again, it's my face. And I've been painting my face almost exclusively for the last decade.
Yeah, right on.
I tried to like
It's like,
college assignments.
yeah, I kind of know how to draw my own face.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you asked me how to draw a pigeon, I would have to Google pigeon. You
No
know,
shit.
it would, but
But
when it
you know,
comes,
I've had to do that before because fucking birds are hard. You know.
yeah, birds are ridiculously hard. It ends up looking like a creepy little dinosaur. But my
It
own
really
face,
does.
like I can draw that shit from memory, and that's the thing. It's always really, really weird because I try to get an expression right, and I'm not even looking at the mirror. I'm just grimacing and touching my
Give me
cheeks, and I'm like, oh,
give me 1 second. I
evening.
will
Hey, Bob.
start my browser.
Yeah, do your thing, man.
Okay.
The browser issues continue.
They
But
do.
it's
With me, it's just look. I use Firefox because it will because I can block ads and shit with it, like to a crazy extent. Like that's why I keep using it.
yeah.
But it hasn't liked the whole video streaming thing lately. So
When it comes to ads, the Amish are haunting me. I get
yeah,
so many fucking ads for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
oh yeah,
And the
that's
thing
the
is,
Mormons. Yeah, but yeah, close
the
enough.
Mormons, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get so many ads for them. And they're also in the city and they approach people and it's just
Yeah,
whack.
wait, are you telling me that like you have a big you've got a big Mormon presence in them Ottoman
Yeah,
Empire streets?
from America. Like they're genuinely the Mormon missionaries and they knock on doors and stuff and they stop
Oh,
people in the
where they
streets.
wear the like the little white shirts and with the ties.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
the
name,
ties,
yeah,
yeah.
with the name
and they
tags.
and they
Yeah,
got the
we
name
have
tags.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that. We have that.
They
And I
used to do
also
that
ask
shit to
for
me.
them.
And
My buddy, my roommate in college. Well, I mean, Bob, Carlton Penny.
Yeah.
So Carlton was a religious sort of a fellow, and so the Mormons used to run these like they'd run these commercials where it was like, do you want to know more about God's plan for you, and like whatever, and it'd be like, call this number and we'll send you this free videotape. Okay. So he orders one of those things one time about something or another he was interested in spiritually, and so what they don't tell you though is that they don't mail it to you. They send a couple of their guys with the ties and the name tags over to like hand deliver it to you so they can talk to you about it. That's their end, to talk to you about, their church. Yeah. And so I came rolling in from class one day and like, here's Penny. And then like, here's on the couch, there's like two of those dudes, and I'm like, righteous, and like, hey,
And you're just there like,
and he's
what?
like, hey, this is Elder so-and-so and Elder whatever, and like, they brought me this tape and I was just like, cool. I go, I'm about to go put some laundry in. And like, I grabbed a fucking bag of laundry, man, and like went and like, I was like, yeah, I can sneak out of there. Turns out Elder so-and-so and Elder other one were like in an apartment, a couple apartments over from us, and they actually turned out to be cool dudes, but like I wasn't gonna listen to the whole Mormon spiel,
Yeah, all you
like,
had to do was watch South
like we
Park
would,
and you got the
yeah,
Mormon
yeah.
stuff.
I mean, like we'd be like, hey, we're gonna fry some fish. You guys want to come over? I like just shit like that,
So here's my Mormon tale, right? When
Tell it, Bob. I'm gonna grab another beer. I'll be right
when
back.
I lived in Arizona, for about 6 or 8 months, I lived in Tempe, Arizona, right in the Phoenix metroplex. That was kind of like pretty much a 8 month. I was engaged to this dancer, ballerina dancer, and pretty much a 6-month, 8-month derangement because like all they had was meth out there. So the Mormons would come rolling through there at like 6 in the fucking morning. And, I'd been up all night doing math. So I was pretty wild looking, greased out, and I'd open up they knock, knock, knock on the door and these fucking Mormons would come by. I'm like, you want to buy the Watchtower? And I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. And they're like, we'll leave you alone. And they'd walk on, they're like, we don't want any part of that shit. But
Jesus.
I think we've all had Mormon excursions with that. Like I go visit a friend in Houston, and he's in a affluent part of Houston, and there's like a huge ass Mormon temple there. Like it's evil looking, but beautiful at the same time. It's white, just this white, beautiful temple, but it looks really evil. And, I ran into that. I lived up in East Chicago. I worked in East Chicago, Indiana, but I lived in Maryville, Indiana. And there was like this Russian Orthodox temple church there. And it had like, the bull,
You froze. I cannot hear you. Well, oh boy, what a wicked web we weave.
I'm back.
Hell yeah.
The internet is still jacked up beyond all recognition.
Yeah, I assumed.
Yeah, I'm like had it. It's totally down now again. I've already contacted them once this morning. What's the last thing you heard?
Mormon temple, evil looking but beautiful.
Okay, yeah, in Houston, it's in Northwest Houston, right? It's a beautiful looking temple, but it is evil looking, I must say. And then I lived in a town called Maryville, Indiana, which was, as the crow flies, about 70 miles southeast of Chicago. They had this beautiful Russian Orthodox church there that was like beautiful. Had the bulbous minarets and all that stuff. Beautiful stuff, but just, I was like, yeah, it looked like a novel, like a horror novel, And I could look out of the back of my apartment window and I could see that, at that point it was all grown up. So that's pretty wild shit.
Bob, are you still talking about the Church of Latter-day Saints?
Well, I was, and then I started talking about a Russian Orthodox church that was up in East Chicago, Indiana, where I used to live.
I mean, from what I've seen, that's kind of what goes on them Ottoman Empire streets, ain't it?
Yeah, the main religions are Islam, and then you have Catholicism, and then you have the Orthodox Church. So, I come from a mixed family. My dad's side is Catholic, my mom's side is Orthodox.
Oh, I thought the Orthodox was bigger over there than like the Catholics.
Oh, after the war and stuff, there still is a demographic, but it's not as big. It's Islam, then Catholicism, then Orthodox, then Jewish.
Right on.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Here it's
And
the
it
Baptist.
depends in which canton you are, in which district, in which city. So it fluctuates. Mostar, for example, has much more of a Catholic presence than Islam, but still, there's people from every religion in any city at this point. It just depends where you're located. That reflects on the
I'm gonna get
majorities.
Bob one day, and we're gonna get on a plane. We're gonna go see that bridge. Isn't
Yeah,
that
the
where
Red
the?
Bull Cliff.
Isn't that where the bridge is?
Yeah, in Mostar, the Red Bull cliff diving event happened a while ago.
But like, isn't like? Didn't they have the battle? Didn't they have some big battle on the bridge or whatever?
Yep, there's a movie about it. There's several
Yeah,
movies
you got
about
it,
it, actually.
Bob. Check it out. So yeah. So I
What
mean,
movie?
no, I mean,
The
yeah, Anna
bridge
Marie
in
will have to
Mostar.
tell you. She'll have to tell you because I just know something happened, but I don't have all the lore.
I'll write it in the chat.
Yeah, I can't see Chad. I can't see shit.
It's
I'm
all
on
right.
the phone.
Oh, fuck.
I'm on the phone again.
Are you guys? Are you still not on the internet?
It got fine last night about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then as luck would have it, I was doing a really good stream on Twitch and just went to shit, man. I was so pissed.
Oh, bro, yes, and sorry too, man. I saw your text, but it was later.
Oh, you
Yeah.
would have you would have gotten to see it maybe 15 minutes and then I lost service. I have no service anywhere in the house at the moment. The whole
Wow,
network's
that's
down.
crazy, man.
Well, the internet's down. I have
Yeah,
network service. My server runs. I can watch Jason of Star Command,
but like,
compliments of the Russian.
right, of course. Jason of Star Command.
Now, wasn't there like, you talk about that, wasn't there like a Star Command show, or was it just Jason of Star
No,
Command?
it was called Space Academy. Okay,
Space Academy.
and so Space
That,
Academy was like kind of like just for the purposes of this chat was like basically like Starfleet Academy. It was like on that same like asteroid or whatever where like the
yeah, I
base
knew
is
it was on the
built.
same asteroid.
So
Yeah.
Jason and his crew worked on the same place, but they were in like a supposedly like a secret part of it, and they like went out and did the missions.
So, was there a show, Space
Yeah.
Academy?
Space Academy came first, and then it turned into Jason the Star Command.
Okay, I'm
Hold
gonna
on,
have
you
to.
know what? I'll find it.
I'm real interested because if I can even find that. I mean, I did find Jason of Star Command both seasons of that, like
Oh, I'm
28 fucking
sure
episodes.
it's up there somewhere. Okay.
That requires me to have internet.
Space Academy show. Space Academy. All right.
Okay,
So, all right, hold on. Let me crack an egg of knowledge on y'all's asses.
what's up, Brew Chase?
See, Space Academy, okay, with
Okay.
1977. So it's another one of those post Star Wars things, okay?
Okay,
And so yeah, all right. So let's see what the premise was exactly. It was also made by Filmation, all right?
yeah,
Saturday mornings on CBS. It ran for like one season or two seasons. Well, okay, repeat. They did one season. It was like 15 half-hour episodes. All right.
okay.
So, all right, what is the fucking plot? Obviously, they don't tell me the plot.
Space Academy.
Established in the star year 3732, the Space Academy was located on an asteroid, brought together the best of young minds, including several with special skills and abilities to explore the mysteries of space. Okay? So yeah. So it was basically like we're teaching like kids, you know, extraordinary kids how to help us, you know, explore
Yeah.
space. The main guy
Hmm.
was this guy who's been in other shit. Jonathan Harris, wasn't he like he was Dr. Smith from the
Yeah.
original
Oh, yeah. That's
Lost in
right.
Space.
I remember
Yeah,
him
yeah.
now as in that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
From like
I
old
got it.
school, from old school like 60s Lost in Space.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The old school shit.
Yeah, the old school shit.
That's
So yeah.
cool.
So yeah, it was a thing that was from 77. It started in 77, and then like I said, they just kind of ran it for 2 or 3 seasons, just the same shit over and over.
Yeah. And then, okay, it was Jason the Star Command was like uh, 77 or 78.
Yeah, maybe it'll tell you like what the
Yeah.
bro.
Okay.
I've already donated. Bro, I've already donated to Wikipedia. Like, get off my dick. All right. In
Yeah.
1978, a spin-off of Space Academy, Jason of Star Command, debuted. Initially serialized segment was part of the Tarzan and the Super 7. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because like Sid Haig, okay. Star Command
Yeah.
was described as a special section of Space Academy. The show used the same costumes. Of course they did. I mean, Jesus. Saturday morning cartoons. Tarzan and the Super 7 was like Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, which was badass. The New Adventures of Batman. I don't remember that.
Space
Which kind of
Academy.
freaks me out. Freedom Force had Isis, Sinbad, Merlin, and Hercules. Remember that?
Yep, I do.
You remember the Isis TV show?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I do. Space
Super
Academy, full
Stretch and
episode.
Super Stretch and Micro Woman. I don't even. All right. So I guess one gets like gigantic and Micro Woman gets tiny. It's got to be the deal.
Yeah. So there's 15 episodes of Space Academy.
Yeah. So like back in the day, like this was like, so Isis had her own show, Anna Maria, like
Right.
on Saturday morning. And a lot of us made us, and for a lot of us, we were like, girls are pretty.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm very unfamiliar with that sort of, media because Balkan
Of
television
course.
during my childhood, it's ridiculous. I mean, the closest I'm not sure if it's available on YouTube, the shows that I watched, but the closest I can, describe to is it's on
Well,
YouTube. It's called
goddamn,
Hungarian.
let's find some and get copyright fucking, let's do it. What are we
It's,
looking
it's
for?
for free on YouTube. It's called Hungarian Folk Tales, which was pretty much
I'll
similar
check it
to
out.
what I've had. But you know that TikTok I sent you like yesterday of the guy describing how Balkan mythology originated? Oh, I didn't baptize that baby. It's a demon now.
Oh,
Oh, I
dude,
didn't rest at midday.
found it.
It's a demon now.
Hungarian folk tales. I found it.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Like, I love that stuff to this day. I watch it.
Check it
I'm
out,
getting the
Bob.
copy.
Hungarian folk tales. I'm down.
Wow.
Look at it. Let's see if they
That's
fuck with us.
interesting. I'm actually getting the the copies of Space Academy from YouTube.
All right, let me try to skip ahead a little bit because I think if we stay below 30 seconds, they may not fuck with us.
Yeah, we had that, and also what I also watched is the fucking Moomins. That Swedish or Norwegian or Finnish. I
Oh,
I don't
wow.
remember anymore. I watched that as a kid, and then I watched a whole bunch
Holy
of
shit,
German
look at that. That's
television.
cool. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I watched, and like I said, German kids shows, and now I know
The
German.
animation is
You know,
cool.
Yeah, send that link to me, please. I'd love to check that out.
and also I've sent it
Yeah,
to
I'll
you
put it.
before.
Well,
It's
I mean, you
a
can't see
Croatian
the chat, but
thing
yeah.
called Dr. Balthazar. So, that was also really, really
Let's
cool.
check it out.
Dr.
Dr.
Balthazar.
Balthazar. All right, here we go. This guy?
Yeah, this guy.
That's Professor Balthazar. All right.
It kind of looks like Mr. Magoo.
23 episodes of that. It looks,
And also
yeah, or
this,
like that, what was that?
we had that, and Pink Panther was also a big thing here, and that French cartoon called La Linnea, which is basically like a character made out of a single line.
That's crazy, man. I love it. It looks like who was the, remember the dude? It was like they had like the Wayback Machine and they would go back in time. It was like a dog and like you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about, Bob?
shit.
They would go
Yeah.
back in time and like look at historical events. It was
Had a little boy with him.
yeah, but the dog was the one that was the smart one. He was the scientist.
Professor, oh fuck, it almost came to me. Professor, shit.
All right, I'm gonna put it in the Wayback Machine. Let's see what pops up. Okay, yeah,
I mean, that's
no,
kind
I
of like
know.
the
This is
time
all
tunnel in
like
the 60s. Professor,
the
Mr.
Wayback Machine
Peabody?
cartoon.
Professor Peabody.
Professor
Yeah.
Peabody. That's exactly.
Yeah.
Did you just Google faster than me, or like did y'all have that too?
No, I watched a little bit of that, but for some reason I thought you meant Courage the Cowardly Dog, which I really loved as a kid, to nobody's surprise because now I'm weird. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
remember that
I've seen
shit?
Mr. Peabody. But we had a lot of, that type. We had access to Cartoon Network, and it was like the early 2000s for me when I watched that stuff. So, whatever was on Cartoon Network at that time, I had access to, and like Nickelodeon, but not the American one, the German
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
The
Oh
German
wow, I wonder
Nickelodeon.
what German Nickelodeon looked like.
Holy fuck.
That's crazy.
It was the same. It was just dubbed. You had all the television shows that you guys had. It just came with a German dub.
Oh, okay,
It was still
gotcha.
like, Zoe 101 or Surviving High School and whatever, but it was just a German dub. SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing.
Oh, okay.
I love SpongeBob, but the thing is, I'm not used to the American one or the one in English. I know the German one. And I thought that was the correct way to watch SpongeBob. And whenever somebody, says Squidward, I'm like, do you mean Thaddeus? Because that's his name in German. And, that's
Right.
how I ended up learning German. And now I work in German, which is, German Nickelodeon. Yay.
That's crazy.
That's nuts, man. That's cool. Like, yeah, I met the guy at a con. His name was Tom Kenny. He was like SpongeBob's voice. He was also on like Mr. Show or something too.
Mr. Show. Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I was like, because like I was kind of aged out of SpongeBob, so it's not as much of a cultural thing for me.
Yeah, me neither.
It was still cool, but because I recognized the guy from Mr. Show, he bought fucking hero clicks for me and Patty. So
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah, him and his kid. Yeah, we're like, all right. Yeah, we used to get a table at the Burbank Hilton, and like fucking because we knew a guy that like we knew this guy Paul that like that owned House of Secrets. Well, still does owned House of Secrets in Burbank comic book shop, and like Paul would give us deals because we'd like trade him hero clicks and shit. And he'd be like, yeah, okay, you guys can get a table for like, this much instead of this much. He'd give us like half off.
Hell yeah, that's cool.
We'd go in there and like trade hero clicks and bullshit. You never knew who was going to show up to one of those motherfuckers. But yeah, SpongeBob showed up. Just
What about the oh god, they were the I can't think of it. It was a cartoon in the 90s. There was 3 or 4 kids. Golly,
what was
I think
the
it was on.
premise?
I can see them in my head, but can't pull the name at all.
What did they do? Like, what was the cartoon about?
Is it the Rugrats?
Rugrats, yeah. Rugrats are pretty cool.
Oh, I remember Rugrats. Yeah, right on.
Everything you need to know about me is encompassed in like the shows I watched as a kid. One is Ruby Gloom. The other one was The School for Little Vampires. And the third, hold on.
I kind of remember Ruby Gloom. Yeah.
Ruby Gloom is I love Ruby Gloom, but I really disliked Ruby. I liked her cat. And I loved that banshee called Misery, who would just start crying and wailing. Like, that's my homegirl. I relate to her so much. Vampire Academy was pretty cool, but, whenever people ask me, like, oh, where do you get your aesthetic from? It's that fucking kid's show. Like, I was 10 years old watching that, and I was like, yeah, this is who I'll be when I grow up. And, there's...
Bob wanted to be that, too, when he grew up. So... don't feel,
There was this show about like a family. The kids are normal, but the dad is like a rock star, but he looks like a Kiss member, like a discarded Kiss member. I don't know what the show is called anymore, but yeah.
It was like a Nickelodeon thing or something?
I don't know. I think it was on another German television program, but the show is probably like American and stuff.
See, so because I used to work in Burbank, and so when Wednesday was New Comic Book Day, so I would go to House of Secrets, and like where it sits in Burbank, it's right across the street from the Safari Motor Hotel Inn, and so but like within like a couple of blocks of that place, you had Warner Animation, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, you know what I mean? Disney, It's like all right there, you know? And so, like, you would, I would be, I'd be in line with all those dudes, like, buying comics every fucking Wednesday. It was crazy. And you didn't even know, who they, and then it would be like, but they all knew each other, and so it would be like, hey, you know, uh, yeah, hey, I heard you got a book coming out today, or or like you just randomly be in line and like somebody be like, oh, hey, I inked that one, thanks for buying it, and I'm just, you're welcome, dude, it was really cool. Cause like that's the kind of shit that I nerded out on, where all the writers and the artists and those, those people. If I run into like a fucking movie star at the grocery store, it wasn't that big a deal, Damn, did I lose everybody?
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean that's.
I think Bob's
that's
trying to get back.
I think that's like the last time frame where art was for the people, with the people, by the people.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, not now, but like in the past several years, people, bank a lot on the fact that people feel inadequate in the term of like fine art. And they're trying to create this sort of distance and put the artist on a pedestal while the consumer is sort of alienated. And I really, really dislike this whole fucking situation that we have, especially with fine art. It's become so inaccessible, so pretentious, so snobbish. It advertises all the wrong values. And I go off on this tangent so many times, like why pop art never managed to take that strong of a hold in Europe. And that's what really divides the aesthetical aspects
Because you
of
got
Europe
real
versus
art
America.
over there. Yeah.
That's not the thing. You guys have real art as well, but the thing with Europe,
yeah.
the thing with Europe is, doesn't matter if you were a doctor or if you were a maid, you would have access to theater, to plays, to the cinema, to galleries. You could get really, really affordable tickets and see the most fascinating plays and works of art in person, in the flesh. You can still do that to this day. And in America, unless you're in the big city and you have money, that wasn't sort of accessible. And what Andy Warhol did, and why it took off in America to begin with, is because he was making art accessible for the wider public. Whereas in Europe, you wouldn't be impressed by Warhol's soup cans and the typography he did of Marilyn Monroe, when you could literally see, Michelangelo's work in the flesh for really, really cheap.
Fucking valid point. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and now they realize that they make a lot of money on the whole exclusivity of the art market and stuff. So, it's ridiculous. I mean, I've experienced that.
Too, don't you think of like how tied in it was with celebrity, and he hung out with rock stars, and they're all hanging out at Studio 54 and shit together, and it was that whole.
He's a genius in marketing. He's not a genius in art.
He was like when he said that thing about, hey, everybody's famous for 15 minutes. He was legitimately talking about himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't subscribe to that sort of ethics of art where it's everything about marketing. If I wanted to market myself in a certain way, like, yeah, sure, I could get my 15 minutes of fame. That's not what I'm after, though. And it's the whole banana taped to a canvas auctioned off for $250,000. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Damien Hirst and his piss shark, that whole fucking debauchery that they're having over the blackest black and the pinkest pink and who can own what, Anish Kapoor and that other guy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And look, you can't tell me that there's not some money laundering going on with all that shit too. You
Obviously,
know? Yeah,
that's my
yeah.
dream. Honestly, that's my dream job. Laundering money through art. If
I know,
anybody
right? It
wants to
sounds like it would
launder
be
money,
awesome. Ah,
like Jesus fucking Christ, like I'd be so down.
Bob, we got no sound from you, buddy. You need me to re-invite you? Give me a thumbs up if you want me to re-invite you. All right, cool. Coming up. Poor Bob. I had to just press the button that says remove from live video. I feel like I did him wrong.
Betrayal.
It felt like it did. It felt like betrayal a little bit. Yeah,
Remove
and you
this
know what?
man.
You know what too? You can't convince me that the film industry is not money laundering at this point either.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's no reason that shit. It's just
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
why does all
At
this shit
point,
cost so much money? There's no
Yeah.
reason for it to, you know.
And the
Maybe
thing
Bob.
is, what I've been watching is a lot of like British. It's not sitcom, it's not stand up, it's all like little sketch format. I love watching a bit of Fry and Laurie because Stephen Fry, you can hate the guy as much as you want. It's the most extraordinary use of English language I have ever seen. And Hugh Laurie, he's Dr. House, so obviously, and he's a musician. Like he
You
plays
know,
several
hey, look,
instruments.
I like Hugh Laurie. I don't give a fuck.
I
You
love
know
that.
what I mean?
I
Yeah, that
love a
guy's
bit of
awesome.
Fry and Laurie.
Yeah.
And also, like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with
And
Mark
Stephen
Gatiss
Fry
and his
too,
whole
man.
bunch.
He's awesome. You know
Check
what
it
I
out
keep
if you
forgetting
haven't.
to watch? I know
What?
it's on my list. I keep forgetting to go back to Bookish. I keep forgetting that I own it. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I gotta watch another one. 'Cause
Watch
it's like
League of
it's
Extraordinary
really
Gentlemen if
good.
you can.
Yeah, I'll find it.
I love Mark Gatiss. The things I would do just to have a conversation with that man. I mean, I would freak
Oh,
him
that
out
guy's
probably
awesome.
very, very much.
Yeah.
I love him. Like
Did you ever get his book, or did the book
it's
twink?
coming.
Fuck you. All right.
He wishes. He wishes.
I should
But no.
have just sent you mine. You know.
Yeah, it would have been easier. But no,
It's like
the thing is, they couldn't locate it, so they had to literally email Mark Gatiss's publishing company to be like, "Look, there's this freaky woman in Sarajevo. We've lost her book
this woman,
twice.
she's not gonna give up. Please send me a copy, so I can give
Please,
it to her.
and if you perchance have an autographed one from Mark himself, otherwise she will do blood sacrifice rituals if we do not deliver
Yeah,
her
it's
little
like we
silly book."
really need to shit, I need to see. I wonder if Bob's trying to text me. I think he was trying to
Send
get
an
his
invite.
audio. Yeah.
Send the invite.
No, I mean,
Invite the man.
I thought I did invite him again. Okay.
Nope. Maybe it expired. Sometimes that happens.
Oy vey. Yeah. There's so many buttons to press today. And I'm
Yeah, it's
pressing all the
ridiculous.
wrong ones. Like we literally talked for 20 minutes and I was like, you're like, oh, we're not online. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, we're pre-gaming.
Yeah. Well, we got up to speed, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I have 20 books to read.
You've been buying some. You know what? You have been buying some good shit.
For ridiculously cheap. I want to do a segment.
Every time that like you send me one of those, hey, I was at the bookstore. I'm just like, all of that shit's good.
Yeah, I want to do like a book club. But like, I'm trying to do it in real life with my friends where everybody reads a different book. And we sort of like, once a month we sit down, we discuss
Oh,
what
that's
we've
a good
read, what we
idea. And
like.
then like compare notes, compare books.
Yeah, yeah, because I really dislike the whole, oh, well, let's all read the same book and catch up and then argue whose opinion is most valid. I don't like that.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might even do it virtually, like over a live stream or like a YouTube video where I just go in. Because the thing is, I think that would be good for like my master's thesis because I've reworked it again to no one's
I
surprise.
mean, I'm down. And like
Yeah, like
we could do it. Well, we could do it from Substack, and then it goes to YouTube, or it goes to your YouTube or whatever. It's just
yeah,
like
yeah, that's what I
you do
intended.
the inviting, and then
Yeah,
it goes
that's what I sort of intended
straight
because
to your YouTube.
yeah, but I would also like do maybe in the future just independently on YouTube because Substack is pissing me off more and more. I mean, I'll see what's gonna
I
happen
I
because
honestly want to do some. That's kind of my September thing. I want to
yeah,
do some
same.
research and figure out, okay, what are our options?
Yeah, same. Because
Like,
the thing
how do we
is,
all get on YouTube at the same time and
yeah,
skip the whole
because the thing
Substack
is,
thing?
I'm reworking my thesis again. I've been reworking the same thesis and regurgitating it 10 times over. Like I'm losing the plot. But I
I
think,
kind of feel like we need to. I think there's a. I think there's a program where we all get on that, and then like it carries it over to like YouTube and shit.
yeah, yeah, that's
Bob
also my
knows.
point. Like,
Bob will figure it out. But like,
hell yeah,
yeah, we need to figure that out because the sub. Sorry, Substack, but I'm less and less impressed every fucking day.
absolutely.
You're
The
starting to
thing
turn
is,
into it's starting to turn into meme slop over here.
definitely.
I'm just giving you the I'm just giving you the tough love right now.
I'm
Sorry.
giving you my 2 cents. The thing
Yeah.
is, what I'm most interested in, researching in general is identity. And that's what all of my work is about. And that's what everything I do boils down to is identity research.
I can
I
see
just love it.
that. I can see that.
And my master thesis right now, currently, the DJ says he cannot get reinvited. Hold on.
Okay. All right,
I
buddy.
sent
Hold on,
him-
buddy. I got you.
I want to do, because I have to play it smart here currently. I want to do this whole identity thing, but featuring the themes of Susan Sontag and her work called The Iconography of Pain, which also features heavily in
Ooh.
my work. So, I want to do something like that and, do the art bit and the book bit. And, I follow a lot of fantastic book creators who do those reviews, like I said, and who,
Oh, he
about,
declined. That's odd.
huh?
Try again. I got him. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I got a message where he declined. He's having all kinds of issues over there because his internet's out.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, you know what? Um, Obviously, I was in publishing. I'm a writer. I love books. I want to find the. I want to talk about. I want to talk about films. I like talking about TV series, and I want to do a book thing too. And I feel like there's a. I feel like there's a space for that, for not your standard like what everybody else is doing on TikTok. That shit, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And the
Yeah.
thing is, like, I get really weirdly philosophical with it because that's just what I do. Like, I have a lot of really, really good books and I would just, I like to yap. I like to give my little hot takes, and I may not always have the most riveting of opinions, but I still like to do it. And it's not even about the viewership and monetizing it, because I really don't believe that everything needs to be monetized.
I
But
don't,
I just,
Anna Maria, I don't think that matters. I
yeah,
feel like once again, people are desperately seeking authenticity
and
because
individuality and a firm
individuality.
sense of
And
identity.
I don't. So I think people would gravitate to that. You know, I'm starting
Hopefully,
to
hopefully.
see. I don't know what that means.
Should we
Um,
restart the live?
no, I don't know. Let me text him. Bro, what is going on over there? What do you want us to do to help you? Yeah, I lazily talked into my phone. Who cares? Yeah. These Bob communications, they're important. Um,
He's
people are,
back.
oh, thank God. People are seeking authenticity, and I really believe that. You know? And so I don't think it matters. I think if you're being real, I think people are gonna find you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Holy fucking batshit. Like, I got caught in a loop. I guess because I switched from computer to phone.
Oh, you know what? You know what we were talking about while you were like fighting that was like finding alternatives to like take Substack out of the equation
Well,
because
it
we
kept
got
telling me,
ideas for shows and like it's like how do we do this without having to fuck with Substack?
so here's my take on this, okay? As being a 6-year streamer, right, on Twitch, right, it's taken me 6 years really and truly to get holistically grown follows on that by trading in subs and all that shit, and
Right.
lick my ass, that kind of thing, right? So I don't know necessarily the viability of Twitch for podcasts. I know they happen, right? But it's kind of its own thing. And so there's not, unless.
Yeah, I mean there are plenty of like, hey, we talk on Twitch. There's plenty of that shit going on. But I'm with you. I don't know if that's necessarily the best spot.
Google seems like, and I'll have to research it, right? Because on the way to multi-stream 3 people into Google.
Okay? I would like to go straight to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I know that you can do that because I watch like Friday Night Tights and other shit. You know what I mean? Where they don't have like 10 people on. But there's a way that they do that. I think because they talk about it sometimes. I think it's called StreamMate. Maybe
StreamMate.
There's a way to get multiple people on the thing, and yeah.
YouTube also does like YouTube lives.
Right, and I use YouTube Live, but I'm streaming out of Streamlabs.
How many people can we get on a? Yeah, but at the same time, we're not doing a mute. We're just doing a talk show.
Oh, I know.
So
I know.
How many people can we get on YouTube at once? Is the question. You know, right. just intrinsically going through YouTube.
I mean, TikTok does also lives, but I don't enjoy TikTok at all.
I don't ever really see a bunch of people like I don't ever see like it's TikTok's not live form though. I mean I know that they have a component that does that. I don't think that's
Yeah,
why people go on TikTok.
there is actually. There is a lot of people watching TikTok lives, believe it or not.
So I got about 400 followers on TikTok, right? As
Okay,
it stands. I've got 2,800 plus on YouTube.
that's good. I
So
mean, we can get you monetized.
quickly, like I've got enough followers, I've got enough content. I need hours watched to monetize YouTube
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
That's my biggest thing for YouTube is to get the hours watch.
Yeah, and then they're going to change all that in February of next year, so it's going to be a little harder. So the time to push that is now.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm monetized on Twitch, and I'm close.
I've never done a thing direct to YouTube. I don't know if the three of us can do what we're doing now without much of a pain in the ass. Like we all like how does that work? If you go live, can you invite the two of us?
Live streaming made easy.
There you go.
I don't know.
I would completely skip this because it's gonna accomplish the same goal. It's gonna go straight to YouTube. If you go straight to YouTube, YouTube will probably prioritize you more than if you're coming over from Substack.
So here's the so my friend Ken in Houston.
Just hold on, Bob. You froze up a little bit. We'll let you catch up. There you go.
All right, back. Okay. All right.
Yeah. God damn, that poor guy's been hubbing hell with his internet this weekend.
Jesus. Yeah. I'm
Bob's
gonna
like,
need to.
Bob's like, I got it all figured out, and then he freezes. I'm gonna tell you all how to do it, and he freezes. But I mean, like until he. Okay. Well, he'll be able to come back, I think.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but it accomplishes the same goal because if we can skip this and go straight to YouTube, it's still if we can all get on there, it's still gonna break the video up into shorts. Okay, so I mean, it's like we're basically losing nothing. And then if we want to put it on Substack, we just post the fucking YouTube video on Substack.
Yeah, exactly. And I also, I want to do like video content. Like
I do too. That's
not just like
that's literally
live
all I'm
stream
interested
content.
in right now.
And it's not just necessarily like, live stream, which I'm definitely going to continue to do, but I maybe just want to do like, because some things,
Hey,
hello,
all right, Bob.
some things
My
are
internet
harder
went
to
fucking down
do.
again.
I do like art tutorials. I would do
I
like,
want you to do. I keep telling you to do art on. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with what we're doing right now, but like if you had your if instead of your camera off, if you had your painting up right now and you were working on shit while we were talking, that would be fucking. I would be like, oh my god, that's just awesome,
Yeah, and I just want to sit down and do that.
Yeah.
Well, you should because people will watch it.
People will definitely watch it because that's all I used to watch on Twitch. Aside from Bob doing music, was like when I was fucking around with Twitch. It was like people doing art. Like people would just get on there and like draw and shit.
So
Because like I
But
don't play video games, so I'm like I don't want to
Yeah.
watch people play video games. You
I'm
know?
gonna step away for a phone call really quick. I have to call Gigi, and
okay,
then I will message you to re-invite me again if that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
so
Elliot,
Freeman,
be back.
so how long have you had your YouTube account?
I'm sure I can look and it will tell me.
Well, so that's how YouTube prioritizes views
Uh,
and watchers.
I mean, I've had it for a long time. It's how long have I been posting on it, or how long have
And
I had it?
how long has it been in existence? Right, 25 years
Uh,
plus.
well, no, not that long.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
regardless of what it
I mean,
is.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So me watching something on YouTube counts 10 times more than somebody that joined last year. Because
Right.
my validation and validity as an account holder has 26 fucking years of content on it, right? Versus somebody that has a year. So that's kind of
Sure.
their stacking system, right? For YouTube
Yeah. That
is
makes
that. But
sense, though. Yeah.
here's here's my thing on Substack, right? And why, I mean, I know we can only get 3 at a time, but the AI feature of Substack that chops it up into segments and shorts is second to none. I don't have time to sit there and edit a fucking video, an hour-long video.
But I
You
might.
don't,
See what I'm
you
saying?
might, you might. I don't.
Because I'm not making, because you're making music and shit. But like if I jump into this like whole hog, okay, then like and plus I have a video editing background. I joined October 4th, 2013.
Okay. So
That's
you
how long
got roughly
that's how long this has been in existence.
October 14th of 2014. So you've got like what 22 years.
Yeah, 2013, I think. But yeah, same deal.
Yeah.
But
But I only started posting
I'm curious.
when
I
we
don't
started
remember.
doing the podcast. Like, what, 6 months ago? As far as me uploading content. Anyway. Yeah, man, you're frozen again. I'm going to
Got
stop
2,600, 26, 26. $2,600, $400